Hi everyone, welcome to Pink Moms. I'm Linda.
I'm Mary. We're a little bit late, but we had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We're new at this.
We're hoping that y'all can view this without having to turn something upside down, and we're going to do the best we can with it. So, what we're making today, Mary?
We're making North Dakota beans. The first time that we ever heard of North Dakota beans is our cousin Nancy. She lived in North Dakota, and when she came back, she brought this recipe. And one Christmas, that first Christmas, my mother had it for all of us for dinner that day, is North Dakota beans, and they are really good. So we're going to double the batch today because we got some people that we're going to share our beans with today. So
the recipe should be posted by now. If it's not, we'll post it afterward, but I had it scheduled to post at 11:05, so you should see it.
I'll be telling you, we chopped up a whole onion, and we put, since we are doubling it, we're doing more meat. The recipe calls for 1 pound of ground meat or ground round, whatever your choice of meat. And we've got extra lean ground beef on this. It's this is what we use.
96.4 hamburger.
Yeah. And so we got 2.5 pounds in here because we are doubling it. But like she said, the recipe calls for 1 pound. So we're gonna saute our onions with our meat, and
Mary's already got that started. Have you salt and peppered it
no,
yet?
I'm fixing to put the salt and pepper in here now.
And this is just salt and pepper to taste. So, if your family doesn't like a lot of salt, then don't put much in it. The sausage will have some salt in it, so will the bacon. So keep that in mind when you're preparing this.
It's best to use the salt and pepper in your meat when you're cooking it because you can add it to your beans later, but you want your meat to be flavored also. So
Yeah, I always season as I go. They say season in layers. If you don't, it's really hard to get that flavor to it after you've already got it cooked.
it's gonna make a big pot.
Yep, it's going to be a big pot, and our sous chef, Mike,
Yeah,
has got everything prepared.
yeah. He's got everything measured up for me over here,
And got our cans open, and we talked about last time when we did green tortilla about going through the rotel and picking out the stems and the cores and the peelings. Well, I'm going to tell you something about Mike. He doesn't like peeling on anything, so he peels smoked sausage. Now, that is not necessary. You don't have to do it, but that's how we do ours. And I'm going to show you the bacon that he's got cooked. He cooks the most beautiful bacon.
and tell him you cook that bacon ahead of time.
Yes.
I mean, you cook the bacon before you do this because you want to drain your bacon grease out and your bacon
Yes.
already be cooked.
You want your bacon cooked and crisp because it's going to be going in this pot of beans. So you want that done. It's smelling good. I love smelling onions cooking in the
Yeah, I
kitchen.
do too. And some people use the spatulas or spoons to stir this, but I use a spatula.
Okay, let's go get
Yeah.
the pampered chef thing
Oh,
out
well,
if you
we
wanted
could.
that.
No, this right
Okay.
here will be fine. I always use a spatula because you can break up your meat. It's just, I just like using a spatula when I'm cooking the meat.
And I'm going to take some still shots as she is cooking so we can post these later so you'll be able to see the different steps in it. See, the meat's coming along really good. She's got it going, cooking real good.
Now, Linda, do you use a bowl to drain yours onto?
Yeah, we
Paper
can
towel
get
or
we can get a bowl.
how
You
do
can
you
use
use
paper
yours?
towel or bowl, either one, whatever you're comfortable with. We probably probably use paper towel most of the time to drain it, but,
I always put paper towel down in the bowl
okay.
to soak it up good.
Okay, well, I'll get a bowl ready for you.
That's just my preference. Because after it gets cold, after your grease gets cold in that bowl, it's easier to just pick that paper towel up and throw it in the trash. Faye and Uncle Dean had their 70th wedding anniversary this year.
They did.
And I was telling Linda, I remember when they got married, and let me tell you, I wasn't but 4 years old. I didn't think I remembered back when I was that young, but I do, because I remember Mom and Paul.
And we were in West Texas.
We was in West Texas. I think we was in Lubbock. I mean, we was in Lockney.
Lockney.
Every fall we would go to Lockney because Dad had a truck, and he would take a lot of people out there, and they picked cotton for us.
They called them hands.
Hey, yeah.
Yep. Truckload of
And,
hands.
And so I remember we had these little one-room houses that we stayed in.
They were
I mean, the
cabins.
whole family, they was cabins, and that's where we lived, cooked, slept, and everything. And I remember Mom and Paul telling us that Uncle Dean had asked him if he could marry his daughter, Faye, and Faye was only 15 at this time. And as a child, all I remember is that Paulie said, "Are you gonna be good to her?" That's all I remember as a child. But apparently, he has been very good to her because they've been together for 70 years, and I admire them
We
so
love
much.
them so much. We do. Everybody in our family, they're such role models, such Christians. I mean, they're one of the best cooks in the world, Aunt Faye
Oh,
is.
Aunt
One of
Faye.
the best cooks in the
Aunt
world.
Faye is, how old is Aunt Faye? 85, 86? I'm sorry, she's in her late 80s. And I can't even remember how old she is, but she still makes cakes for the puppy. She's a good baker, good cook.
She is so good. And I remember you were 4, so we're almost around 4, so I was probably around 2, 2.5, because there's 17 months difference in our
He
age.
was young.
And they came to see us. They lived in Florida, and we lived in Lockney, which I don't even know how many miles apart. Probably 20 or 30 miles, and I'm
back
totally
then we
guessing.
thought it was a long way.
But that was a long way back then. And they came to see us, and I wanted to go home with them. Now, mind you, I was a toddler, and so they took me with them. And you have to hear Uncle Dean tell this. I cried, and I think I crawled under the bed. I wanted my mama. And Aunt Faye told Uncle Dean, we got to take her home. He said, "We are not taking her home tonight. She can wait till in the morning." They had to carry me back home the next morning. And
I know. What I remember about it is you're supposed to stay several days.
I was.
You were supposed to stay because it was quite a distance that they was taking you home with them. But Linda didn't last that long.
And I think Aunt Faye made me a pillowcase to pick cotton in.
She made
I got
that.
a bowl right there. You know, we didn't, I mean, we were kids. It wasn't that I was picking cotton for money. I was just picking cotton because I wanted to as a baby or toddler. But she made me a little pillowcase to pick cotton in. And I can imagine a little child.
Oh, we followed behind Mother
Not
many a
much bigger
day.
than Bradley out in the field picking cotton.
Yeah.
And again, not that I had to, but because I wanted to. And Mary, it was in Lockney where we lived.
Yeah, we was in Lockney.
With the shoes,
that's where-
right?
Yes,
Tell
yes.
about that.
Oh, well, you know, I was always prissy.
Mary was always grown up more for her age than I ever was and ever will be.
And Mama had some high heels, only one pair now. That was her good pair of shoes and those high heels. Well, Aunt Elsie and Uncle JB and her boys lived just 2 or 3 those little houses, 2 or 3 little houses down from us. Oh yeah, and Aunt Belle was there too. Aunt Belle lived out there. And so they were going down to Aunt Elsie's house, and she told me, we was all playing, Nathan and all those cousins, we was all outside playing. And she told me, she said, when she seen I had her high heels on, she said, Mary, don't you go out of this house with those shoes on. And so as soon as they left, sure enough, I put those shoes on and I went outside to play. Well, in the back of those old cabins was the back of the cotton gins. The cotton gins was out there. So there was all the amber. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about or not, but whenever the cotton burrs, yeah,
Burrs, they
were burning in them piles, and I didn't think, I was a kid. I didn't realize the danger of going, that was actually ashes of fire into there. So I just walked right through that pile of ashes with those shoes on. And I mean, I stepped right out of them, and I got out of the shoes. They came off my feet, and I took off running, and I went and sat on it was a big old round tire, flat tire, sitting on the back of one of the cabins, and I went and sat on that, and Nathan, he ran in the house and told them that Mary had stepped in those burrs out there. Well, Aunt Bale and Aunt Faye and Mama all, they picked me up and carried me to the house, and they scraped potatoes. Irish potatoes. They were peeling potatoes, mind you, whenever this all happened. So they took those potatoes and they scraped all that starch out of those potatoes, and they put it on my feet, and then wrapped it in bandage. Now my feet, it was full of potatoes, just solid potatoes, and wrapped it up in bandage, and then put my feet up in the air, and they called the doctor. And the doctor told them that they did the best thing they could have done for my feet. And then he told me leave it on there, wrapped up for so many days, and I did for several days with my feet propped up. And then I think the doctor came back out there and took those bandages off. I'm not sure, but the doctor did come out and see me. And when he took those bandages off, those potatoes were just soaked in that smoke. And I want you to know, I don't have a scar or nothing. I did not have any repercussions from that, but my feet was burned. They went out there and said they'd get the shoes. They were burned up. So that's just one of the things in childhood that kids, how they do things, and
it was a miracle. And the forethought, I don't know how they knew to do that. I don't know if this was something.
I don't know how they knew to put the
an
scraped
old
potatoes
remedy that they did, but your
It was
feet
just-
didn't scar, and you didn't even have trouble walking on them.
No,
Never
had no problems with walking on my feet. So
That was really nothing short of a miracle.
okay.
Really.
Now, Linda, you did show her. This is now you put smoked sausage, and you can see Mike took the skins off of the smoked sausage.
Looks
And
like
so-
he measured them.
I know, he's so precise. So,
That meat's already done, but we
yeah,
want to
the
get
meat,
it hot.
the meat and the onions is done. So now I'm putting in the sausage, which is supposed to be a pound, but this is more than a pound.
Right, because we're
Put
doubling
the
it back.
sausage and
Do you want me to go ahead and start?
you can go ahead and turn that on.
Putting some beans in there.
I just heat the sausage just a little bit with this hamburger meat. But then we're gonna put, it says 1 can of pork and beans,
But we're doubling, so we're doing
Yeah.
2.
and we put juice and all of beans. I need a little spoon. Or just a regular tablespoon, Linda. Oh, okay, that's fine. You need a big pot for this. It makes a lot of beans. You can just set it down there.
I'll grab them and put them in the garbage.
And I'm putting, like I say, I'm doubling the recipe, so I'm putting 2 cans of pork and beans. Now he got the big cans.
These are 28 ounce.
28
cans,
ounce of beans.
And
Yeah.
I'll put that on the recipe, the size that you
Okay,
use.
okay.
And then these other cans are just a regular 15, 16 ounce cans.
Now this is, Linda, I don't know if you put this on the recipe or not, but remember we was going to do some broth in this
Yes,
beans.
yes, we did, and we do that for two reasons. We do it to keep the meat from drying out, and we like juice with ours because I make cornbread to go with it. So we add extra broth.
You're gonna have to open this can. This is one of them Pampered Chef can openers, and I don't know how to use it. It trips me up every time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm putting the beef broth in with the onions, ground meat, and the smoked sausage. And the reason for this is just so it'll have a little bit more juice in and it keep it moist. The only reason putting this together is just so you can stir your beans and stuff together before you put this in here. All right. You putting the kidney. What are you putting in there
Yes,
next?
I put the kidney beans in there, and I'm fixing to put the.
It calls for 1 can of kidney beans, 1 can of green lima beans. Did you get the lima beans?
Yes, this is 1
Okay.
can of.
Okay, here's the other can. You got the opener over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And he showed me how to open the. See if I can do what he showed me. I did.
So this is one of those fancy Pampered
Yeah.
Chef can openers.
The lid,
You open it.
and it doesn't
Open
look
the
like it's
can.
open. It doesn't look
It
like it's
doesn't look
open.
like it's open. It won't cut you. And the lid stays on there until you hook this little thing right here. This is a little hook. And then you close it like that and you pull up on it and it takes the lid off. It's kind of nifty, but it's a little tricky. You have to learn how to do it.
I think Liddell has one of them. I never did order one.
Okay, so get over.
All right, now you put 2 tablespoons of mustard, which it calls for 2 tablespoons of mustard, but we're doubling the recipes, so I'm going to put 4. These cans out of your way. I didn't have this measured up. It's another one of my not measuring stuff. I just got me a tablespoon and I'm putting.
That's fine. You need that big spoon in there that you can stir that with.
Now, I got the mustard in. And 1/4 cup of ketchup. 1/4 cup of ketchup, but this is a 1/2 cup because I'm doubling the recipe again. This got a lot of ingredients, but it sure does turn out good. This is a good dish to fix around holidays, whenever you got a big crowd coming.
And it's the kind of dish that is better the second and the third day than
Yeah,
it was the first,
that's
because
true.
it kind of sets together.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good tasting.
Okay. I got the mustard, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah,
Okay. I still got my spoon in there.
yeah.
Okay.
You can use that big spoon there.
Okay. All right. 2 tablespoons, so I'll need 4. One. Yeah, Aunt Faye and Uncle Dean, we used to go stay with them. In the summertime, that was part of our summer vacation from school, is we go stay at Aunt Laverne. Sometimes we stay 2 weeks, and then Aunt Faye and Uncle Dean, and
Yeah, we always loved that. The Fosters, one of the Fosters had
Yes.
something on Facebook the
yes,
other
I
day.
seen that.
I remember going with them to,
Yes.
did we go to Vacation Bible School?
We went to
or was it
yes, we went to Vacation Bible School there at
at
church.
Central Baptist, wasn't
Central
it?
Baptist, yes. And that Uncle Dean was a Sunday school bus. He had a bus
Oh,
ministry.
yes, they did.
And they lived in Lufkin, and Redland is a little town about, 10 miles out of Lufkin? Right to this day, there's not much difference between Redland and Lufkin, but back then, I thought that was a long ways. I rode with him on the bus to pick up some kids. And you know, I often wondered, it had to make a difference in those children's life that they came and picked them up for church every Sunday.
Because it was
Because-
kind of remote. I mean,
Yes.
it was a town, but
Yes.
it was still out.
Right.
So,
And
yes.
and you know,
You just wonder
you
how
never
many
know.
lives they've touched
Exactly,
over the years.
because they did that for
paid all the
years.
thing.
It really impressed me a lot as a kid. And matter of fact, it made me want to be a bus driver, a Sunday school bus ministry. Whenever I was grown, when I got grown, and I did, I would go pick up kids from for church on Sunday mornings, and with my children and them. And you never know what difference you're going to make in a kid's life.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this little boy that lived next door to us. His dad was named George, and they called this little boy Little George. And they lived in a little bitty house, and it almost looked like a little hut or something. It was just real, just not up to our standards at that time. You know, it was just a little shack. And that little boy was so lonesome. He would sit at the fence line and look over at us children playing. His dad wouldn't let him come and play. His dad wouldn't let him come out of that fence. He wouldn't let, everybody was afraid to go to his house, as a matter of fact. He had a fence all the way around his property. And, but I remember, and I was just a teenager, I said, you know what? That man can't hurt me too bad. I was always invited with the kids. And so I went up and I knocked on his door. I didn't know what might happen, and asked him if I could take little George to Sunday school. And he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me, but I asked. And that little boy, I would talk to him about the Lord. And I didn't think nothing about it. And then when we moved to Henderson 25 years ago, Linda told me that she went into the bank there in Henderson, and that man, how was that, Linda? What did that man tell you? You wanted to know, you told him about us being from Nacogdoches,
Yes.
and he said he was from Nacogdoches, and they began to talk and found out that was little George.
Yes,
Remember
that
that?
was Little George, yes.
And that was little George, and he told her what a difference that I had made in his life as a child, because I wasn't afraid to talk to him, and that I was about the only one that ever just went around and talked to him when nobody else was, because they were so afraid of his daddy.
They live between Pink Paw and Uncle Fred.
Yes,
They live between them.
Yes.
And now, because we're grown, those spaces were really, really close together. But back
I know,
then, it seemed
I
like
know.
there was a more of a distance between us.
Right.
But if you drive by there today, you almost pass all four Uncle
I know,
Fred's,
it's
Mr.
seems
George,
unreal.
Pinky Ball, and Pinky Mall in our house before you even know it.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm actually putting a half a cup of brown sugar, which the recipe calls for a fourth. But we're putting brown sugar in this, which the brown sugar would dissolve, you know, quite quickly. And I've turned the burner off. I've got our sausage heated here and hamburger meat with our broth. Now we're going to crumble up our bacon into our pot of beans. Doesn't that look nice?
It's beautiful.
Bacon?
It's really smelling good.
Yeah. I'm just breaking them up. And the recipe actually says to cook this chicken. Sorry about that. I get my words mixed up sometimes. It says cook the bacon in 2-inch pieces. Well, I noticed that Mike, he's fried the whole bacon strips, which is okay because you just break them up into 1-inch squares, 1-inch pieces whenever you're putting them in here, putting it in here.
Yeah, he just did it that way.
It
so
will
it'd be
actually,
easier.
yeah, it's easier to fry if you fry them whole, so it doesn't matter. But that is what the recipe says. But Mike is, he's a really good cook.
He is.
Now I'm breaking these up. Mike may say, why didn't you cut those up? Which I could have.
It
But,
don't matter.
it's like I've said before, I'm not as professional. All right, now we're going to put our ground meat, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use a big 2-cup. Linda, are they asking any questions? Do you need to?
I haven't even looked.
Okay.
What does Mike do to make his bacon so pretty? Okay. Mike is very particular the way he does things.
Yes.
He fries it very, very slow,
Slow.
Anita.
Yeah.
He doesn't like high burners at all. He gets on to me all the time when I turn the burner up too high. But Molly actually used to do that. She would cook stuff slow, remember?
Yes, Molly.
He'd turn it very carefully.
Slow.
And hi, Haley and Kaylin. Hi, Dixie. Hi, Tracy. John, we are making North Dakota beans. And I'm going to mix up a little small pan of cornbread too in just a few minutes. And we've been on close to 30 minutes. We're trying to keep this shorter than last week. So we may get back on just briefly and show you the cornbread after it's done. But we are going to show you the finished product because we did 2 pots and we already have 1 cooked. And then Mary's going to be cooking hers. As we speak, she's cooking it.
Linda, I'm adding another can of beef broth.
Okay, so we're using 2 cans of beef broth.
Yes, because it was just too dry. It needs plenty liquid to boil.
And thank you, everybody. Hi, Sally. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Cinda. Everyone that's watching, Carla. Appreciate so much y'all watching. Hope you'll tell your friends about us. And I did put the beef broth on the recipe because we like cornbread with ours, and I like juice. I don't like anything dry, so I'm making just a little small pan of cornbread to go with it, and we'll have plenty of juice to soak up that good cornbread with.
Linda, do you want to? How we're gonna bring the camera over here, or we're gonna just put it in a bowl and show them what the finished product?
I've already dipped up some that's finished.
Okay. All right. Great.
So,
Okay. All right. Like I said, we're making 2 batches. So Mike cooked a batch this morning, and then I'm cooking a batch. And you have to cook this for 2 hours and stir it every hour because it's thick and you don't want it to get dry. Now this can.
Let's see if we turn it over there. Will it show?
I don't know if you can or not. Let me get back a little bit.
Okay, let's swipe.
There it is. There it is, right there.
Okay.
This is the beans. This is the finished product here. Let me get a little further away. I think you can see it better.
And we'll take
But
some
she
steel
dished up a
shots,
bowl,
too.
and this is the beans. It's full of meat, as you can see. And we're going to taste it after she gets her cornbread in the oven. But this is the pot of the North Dakota beans, which is very, very good. And like I said, this is a good dish to make during the holidays because it does make so much. And it's a favorite of everybody in our family anyway. And so I thank y'all for watching our live video today. We tried to shorten it a little bit by cooking 2 batches so you could see the finished product and see us as we were making it also. Thank y'all so much for watching us, and we'll be back again probably on Thursday maybe.
Of next week. Yes, thank you. Tell your friends about us. We so appreciate you taking the time out of your day and watching. Remember that you can go back and view these later. We love y'all, and thank you again for joining Pinky Miles in our
Actually,
kitchen.
it'll be a video on Thursday of this week.
Yeah, we'll have another
We're
video
going to
on
try to
Thursday.
be on twice a week, 1 live and then 1 video.